everybody, Nostalgic here, and I already know what you're thinking. Bruh, didn't you just say in a community post that you were going to come back with custom spotlights? Well, yeah, about that. I wanted to do this review first. What do I mean by review? I mean an absolutely ginormous haul. So let's make a start now. So I got this wooden track, and I'm actually glad that I got this wooden track. It includes some clickety clack track. I'll have to try those because I have heard that they make quite a lovely clickety clack noise. Now, as for another bag I got these accessories, of which I'll have to see what's in here because currently in here is a total mess of things. I will have to see what's in here. As for another thing that I have gotten, I got the Take and Play Tidmouth Sheds again. Now, for many of you OG viewers of this channel, you would remember that I had gotten Tidmouth Sheds a few days before 2023. This one here, it's fine, but I think I either will keep it or sell it off. Who knows? Now, moving on to the engines, because I know y'all want to see some engines. First, we're going to take a look at some rolling stock. Okay, because this rolling stock, most of it is quite peculiar, and others are just not that special. We'll see. We've got everything organized. So here we have some early learning center post office vans. So these are basically the mail train, if anything. I've also got this early learning center underground train. Thank God it's not underground Ernie. Seriously, I'm glad it's not underground Ernie. I do not like underground Ernie. I've also got wagons of coal, ELC water, a barrel, and a milk tanker. Okay, cool. I got some pretty neat stuff here. But what's this at the end? What do we have here? It seems to be a cargo truck of some sort with very peculiar wheels. And what does this cargo load say? Sodor Cargo Company, eh? I wonder what that could mean. Moving on to the engines. Oh, man. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, I've got myself a good haul of engines from Wooden Railway. Wow. This is excellent. Okay, so first off, we're going to start off a bit boring, though, because these guys here don't have faces. So this is the mail engine, I'm assuming. So these trucks belong to him. And as for this Class 08 right here, I think he's the freight engine. So yeah, that explains all the trucks. But now that we've gotten those guys out of the way, it's time to get to these the famous 10 and 2 diesels. So let's start off with the very well known from Magic Railroad Diesel 10. I have finally gotten him in Wooden Railway form. I have him in Take Along, I have him in Adventures, I have him in Trackmaster and Tomy, but I do not have him as a frippin' wooden railway model. This is a gem to have, and especially because he has that pre-CGI face. Take that in, everyone. Just take it in. You've gotta love that face. Alright, moving on from Diesel 10, we have Devious Diesel himself. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Still pretty good all around. Love that face. He's like, I'm so done with my life. It's just too good. Now, I'm going to be fair here. I already have a Douglas. It is in much better condition than this one is, but I'll review it for reviewing's sake. So, it's fine. It's still pretty good. Donald is basically the same, but has a different nameplate and different number. So Donald's completely new. Douglas is not. I'll probably salvage the face or something, but I don't know. As for Donald, he's going into the collection spotless. As well as that, we have Duck. Yes, I have the little great western fucker himself. It's about time I got this dude. He's just... listen, I want to get the 2014 version for the CGI face, but I cannot deny that the model series face that he has is still pretty good. And the detail, well, not clearly there yet. He doesn't even have a funnel. He has two domes. I cannot lie. This is still a good Duck model nonetheless. Here is Toby the Tram Engine. I like it. I mean it. I do love how Toby's detail is applied to a model that is made of wood, to an engine that's made of wood. But this is where my problem lies. Why didn't they give him another wheel in the middle? I swear if Mavis has this problem as well. It makes me mad to see that one character who mainly has 6 small wheels hidden behind side plates has 4 wheels. Although I can appreciate that his wheels are a different mold from everybody else, just like Colby's. Here is Percy. I already have him in better condition, and I've reviewed this model before, so out of here. Finally, I get splendid red in wooden railway form. About time, too. I've wanted a James for wooden railway, and this just hits all the spots. The 2003 nostalgia is clear on this. For heaven's sake, it's just too good. It's okay. I love this model. Here is Gordon. He needs to be restored a bit. Like, for example, the eyebrows. It's clear that they were marker done. These engines were all secondhand. So I'll have to restore this guy at some point, but he still looks pretty good all around, so this is tender. And I will not deny that. Here is Henry, and I've reviewed him before. So, into the sides you go. Edward, still pretty good. He's in much better condition than Gordon. At least his previous owner didn't try to marker his eyebrows. So, yeah. Now, one of the biggest highlights for me in this haul is the Thomas that all of these guys came with, along with Annie and Clarabelle. So I have Annie in this style, but not Clarabelle. So actually I have a Clarabelle in this style, I think. But the Annie is in a different style. I don't know. It's been a while since I've taken a look at my wooden railway collection. So, yeah. But the highlight here is Thomas, and it definitely shows. Look at this dude and tell me that he does not look like the 1990s model that we've been getting up until 2002 when the changes started to occur. I love the fact that I finally got an old style Thomas like this in comparison to like a 2002 Thomas or a 2017 or 2015 Thomas. This is much better. It's much better to have a Thomas of which it's stylized in a way. Now, we're not done with Wooden Railway yet. We've got two other engines. And by two more Wooden Railway models, I mean the 2013 versions of Edward and Henry. Let's take a look at Henry first. And oh, this model shows that it's much better than its predecessor. But I am still going to be completely honest when I say this. I still prefer the early engineers model because this still has its flaws. I mean, it's good that they finally put the I forgot what they're called. They put the splashers up on top of the footplate, how it's supposed to be, and under the boiler. That's very good. They also gave Henry his feed pipes that go into his smoke box. But the fact that there's one dome kind of annoys me since Henry has two domes. It's still a good model, I won't lie, but the extra dome would have made a whole lot more sense for Henry to have. As for Edward, he's still pretty good. Although I have to say his model in Wooden Railway did kind of annoy me because he only has 4 wheels when he's supposed to be a 440. I understand at the time they wanted to make them a bit simplistic for children, but in the modern day, I'm glad that we got the improved versions of Edward and Henry in Wooden Railway. Now, we're done with Wooden Railway. I cannot tell you how tickled pink I am to have all of these. So, first of all, let's get this one out of the way because this is just a stock standard 2010 Thomas, which is nothing special. We've been over him dozens of times over. If any of you have watched me on Facebook, in groups, or anything else, you would already know that I have gone through Thomas. Now, let's take a look at the first item on hand, the Mattel version of Murdoch from 2009. And as you can see, I have the elusive tender with black wheels. As you can see, no buffers there, no buffers here. This is clearly a take and play in every way. Now, moving on to the other take and play, which isn't Thomas, we have Percy. More specifically, Racer Percy, from a very particular set. I've forgotten which set it was. It was from the Great Race, though. Okay? And the reason I bought this is because of the fact that I had gotten the Trackmaster version. And y'all know I'm not that big a fan of motorized, not even these later models. So I decided that I would get the Racer Percy from Take and Play. I would like to update his face though, have it be similar to the Trackmaster version where he's confidently smiling. It's a lot to take in that I finally have that one. Now, let's take a look at the multitude of Thomases that I have here. Now, for clarification, I'm going to say this. This dude right here came with the Wooden Railway items, and so did this dude. Now, we are going to get into all of these, which came from eBay. but 3 of which did not. So let's take a look at Paint Splatter Thomas. We've taken a look at him before, but the reason I bought this is to turn him into the legacy variant of Paint Splatter Thomas. Not by giving him a CGI face. This face here is perfect. But by updating by upgrading his footplate, and even more so giving him the black footplate, you know. As well as that, I've now got another Sodor Paintworks tanker. Yay me! Okay. So next up we have Celebration Thomas. I've never had a Thomas like this before. And here's something pretty cool. They actually put the magnet on the wrong way, because the magnet at the front is supposed to look like this, and for the magnet at the back it's supposed to look rounded at the edge, but instead they put it in the front facing position. Wow. That's actually pretty hilarious though. So okay, that was Celebration Thomas from Take Along. Onto the early Taken plays now. We have Pop Goes Thomas, and this is the Thomas that was covered in lemonade, apparently. I don't remember Thomas being covered in lemonade. I only remember him being covered in cheese. Jesus. Or should I say, Jesus. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. I'll be out of here soon. Okay, next up we have Celebration Thomas, which came with Annie and Clarabelle and the Wooden Railway models alongside Murdoch and the stock standard 2010 Thomas. I am happy to have this in my collection now. But for most of these models, I want to turn them into smart magnet versions because... Bleh! But still, pretty good all around, especially with the banners on him. Annie and Clarabelle, I might use them for the collectible railway models to be used. So if a collectible railway, for example, Stanley, had to pull them, I can just put an adapter at the front and watch Stanley go. But still, pretty good all around that I got this guy. And when I got him off of eBay with the rest of them, he was in terrible condition. So this was a good workaround, that I had gotten the lot with this specific Thomas, and when I had gotten the lot with all those Thomases, I had gotten one in bad condition. Funny how things work out, huh? Now, Golden Thomas. I do not care much, because, let me face it, this Thomas, I already have him and in much better condition. So I might as well try and turn this into a gold-plated take-and-play Thomas. I'm sorry if the light is shining into the camera. The problem with this is the fact that I'm using two lights, more specifically my phone light and my lamp. You see this lamp? Yeah. This is an add-on cause to the problem. Now, here is Streamlined Thomas. I have to replace his axles, because very unfortunately this Thomas has bad axles, as you can see. Yep. And yeah, this Thomas needs to have his axles replaced, and I think I might swap out the face for a generic Thomas one, because I'm tired of the Streamlined Thomas always having the confident look. And besides, I like the collectible railway version of this better. Now, moving on, we have Racing Thomas, who, coincidentally enough, we took a look at this guy earlier. These two came in the same set. Yeah. That's for what you need to know. Now this is actually a pretty good favorite of mine, Racing Thomas. Well, The Racing Thomas from earlier, I don't like him much, but this one, definitely. He is reminiscent of a NASCAR car in any way. Just look at that paint job. Look at the sponsors. You've got chocolate syrup. You've got, I don't know, the Vickerstown Diesel Works, the Iron Works, Sodor Search and Rescue Center, Misty Island Logging Company, Blue Mountain Quarry. You've got so many sponsors here that it just makes a whole lot of sense. I love this Thomas. This is the best Thomas. Definitively, I'd call this Sudrian Racer Thomas. This is a good Thomas. Now, the last one is not that good a Thomas. Why? Because he looked like he came straight out of a jungle. Seriously, what the hell was this Thomas? I am going to stand by the fact that I am going to turn him into a smart magnet model, but I will also, and I mean it when I say this, I will also go through the trouble of painting, like spray painting his chassis and footplate to fit with the fucking jungle aesthetic. Yeah. Alright, let me put the highlights of this up so that I can just end the video. So here are the highlights of this haul all lined up. And with that, I can very much say thank you very much for watching. This is Nostalgic signing off and reminding you all that nostalgia never dies. Now, if you don't mind, I am going to pass out onto the ground. Ugh.